I maybe boogered that one up. I tried to hit the go live on the Instagram, but I don't know that I got that one taken care of. So while we wait for Jessica to get from behind the keyboard, she is frantically typing away. Um, I the question was actually going to be, can functional medicine cure autoimmune disease? And that's actually I was limited by the number of characters that I could have in the title. So we get curing autoimmune diseases. Um, and so we really have to take a moment to think about how the body works and how functional medicine works, because what functional medicine does is it helps relieve body burden, and then it gives the body what it needs to work and to heal, and then the body actually does all the work. So the short answer is no, functional medicine does not cure anything. But what functional medicine does is it gives your body the ability to heal and then cure itself, or heal itself. Shouldn't say cure, I should say heal. Because people have genetic propensities towards whatever disease they might get. And if you can eliminate the triggers and the causes to that, then what happens is the body can then relieve body burden, and then it can clean itself up, whether that be through detoxing, elimination, methylation, whatever the case may be. So you see the body is able to actually heal itself. And, you know, what are the things that we've seen? We've seen a lot of thyroiditis or autoimmune thyroiditis that once you start to relieve the triggers that cause the problems, and people have all kinds of triggers. It can be a trigger that is a food sensitivity. It can be an environmental sensitivity. It can be an emotional mental stress. And these are just things that allow the body to, here she comes. These are just the things that start to weigh the body down, and they don't allow the body to do what the body is meant to do. The body is meant to adapt, heal, and overcome. But when you start to punch holes in things, and actually, I'm going to put into the comments a URL, and that's to a YouTube, and that kind of explains, it shows how basically foods and stressors can cause leaky gut. And once they cause leaky gut, then that causes the autoimmune process to start to progress. And so it's really simplistic. But when they talk about the systemic inflammation, that is where you start to see this all happening. And once that starts to get that systemic inflammation, then the body has so much stuff to do that it gets overwhelmed. And we see that all the time. We see that with people all the time, don't we? And we've just seen, I tell you, it's really good to get a good handle on what your body is dealing with. Is your body having an issue with dealing with toxins? Is it having an issue with food sensitivities? Are you stressed out of your mind? And those are the things that you actually have to look at. Those are the things that you actually have to start dealing with, because you can use medications. And if you're in an emergency, absolutely use medications. We've had a couple of people recently that upon doing their GI maps.
Don't say nothing.
Well, just saying, when we see things on GI maps, we will do a referral out. And that's because there are things that functional medicine just does not address. And so those are the things that, you know, they're really simple, they're inexpensive tests, and they give you a lot of information. And this is why we call it functional medicine. We call it functional medicine because it is how your body has to function at a baseline so that the body can do what it needs to do. Just something as simple as just some quick things to look at. Look at your fingernails. And if you can't see those whites on your nails, those are called lunulas. If you don't see those whites on your nails, then you're not getting enough nutrition in. And a lot of times people will have a little white speck in their nails. Now, if you haven't smashed your nail or done some sort of damage, then that starts to show that you're not getting enough collagen and or protein. And when this stuff starts to happen, you're not giving your body the building blocks it needs to rebuild itself because you're in a constant state of flux. Cells are dying and cells are being made. And if you don't have everything that your body needs, the amino acids, the proteins and stuff like that, then the body starts to break down. And that's when things inside the body can go wrong. I myself have had thyroid issues, and I had autoimmune thyroid markers, and the blood tests didn't show this. The baseline blood tests didn't show this. It wasn't until I went ahead and did the antibody testing that I saw that I actually had the antibodies present, and that's what was causing my system to be really slow. And once I started to do the things and added in the selenium, and I'm going to sneeze. Once I started to add in the things to unload the body, because your body can clear those things. The body can even clear the forever toxins, but you have to be actively trying to do that. And you also can't be adding in more stuff on the front end. So if you've looked at your tongue and you see you have that center line crease, then you're most likely gluten sensitive. And if you continue to eat gluten, then you're going to have a problem because your body can't clear everything and you're causing that inflammation. Once again, go take a look at that URL that I posted on the YouTube, that YouTube URL. And that goes through how the gut starts to break down and how this starts to actually trigger autoimmune diseases because it causes leaky gut. And so then you've got to actually go in there and start to repair that so that the body can do the things that it needs to do so it can heal. What would you like to add to that? Because you actually had a good point that, we don't cure anything. The body, if it's able to, does. And then you mentioned that about damage. Reversing.
Oh, yeah, because there's certain damage like that can't be reversed. You can minimize it, but for instance, like Barrett's esophagus. That is an actual change of the tissues. So the tissue in this esophagus begins to look like the tissues of the intestine. And once it changes, you can't necessarily make it not be that way. It's an actual,
that has to be continually monitored.
Yeah. So you can't change the tissues back from where they are back to a normal healthy tissue. You just have to give the body what it needs so it doesn't continue to change its tissues over.
Make those changes. And that's one of the things, we don't cure Barrett's esophagus. We work with people who have it and we try to get them off of their PPIs, but they still have to monitor that to make sure that it's not getting worse.
But what we're doing is optimizing the body itself. So nutrition and hormones, things like that.
Stress.
So then your body can heal, and then you don't have the things that cause those issues.
And that's what is so vitally important. If you have something that is going wrong, then it can trigger any number of things, and that's why it's called a trigger. You have to figure those triggers out, and then once you figure the triggers out, then you got to remove them. And that's, they call it the 5 or 6R program, however you want to do that. And that first R is removing. It's removing the things that cause problems. And then after you remove those things, you start to replenish, you replace, you rebalance, you repopulate. And those are the things that you have to continually do. And then functional medicine, at least the way that we practice functional medicine, we try to teach you about your body so that you can live life to its fullest, or to the fullest that you want to live it. And you're not constantly coming in to see us. And that's kind of, Jessica said it before, it's all about us putting ourselves out of business because you know how to take care of you. And we release functional medicine patients all the time. We release chiropractic patients all the time. And that includes those that have once had autoimmune diseases. So I think that's a pretty good thing to do. Once again, I did post the YouTube links. One is on Facebook and one is an actual YouTube link. So if you're viewing this on Instagram or X or something else, make sure you click those links. It's 3.5 minutes. It's from Microbiome Labs. We absolutely love those guys, and it's a great animation on how that breakdown works. Thank you. Have a great night.
We need to get